Hello. This is weird for me. I've never really made videos or uploaded them or anything. But I'm hoping that I can help somebody out there. So I want to put my story out there. So I'll start off with my name. My name is Jordan. I'm 21 years old. I just turned 21 January 1st. I'm a New Year's baby. And yeah, I want to first start off by saying that I'm not looking for attention or sympathy. I am putting this out there for somebody that maybe thinks they're alone, or maybe need some helpful information, anything like that. I want to be an outlet for somebody to talk to. So yeah, so that's my little disclaimer. But I guess you probably know by the title, but I'm gonna start off by saying I am a heroin addict. I inject it. I'm an IV user, which means I use needles. I didn't start using needles. I started smoking it off of tinfoil through a straw, and then I did that for about 4 months, and then for about 8 months I have been injecting it. So yeah, I've been a heroin addict for a little bit over a year now. I guess I'll start from the beginning. So this time last year, I had no idea what heroin even was. The most drugs I had ever done was I did acid with my high school boyfriend one night for fun, years ago. And so and then I was a heavy pot smoker. I smoked weed every single day, and that was all that I did, though. And that was all I knew about. I didn't, so I didn't know about drugs or anything. And so I had met this guy. I'm not going to say names. We'll call him Bob. So I knew Bob prior. I knew him from high school. I had known him for years, but we hadn't talked for a couple of years. So we got in contact with each other, and when I knew him before, he wasn't into drugs or anything. He was a really good kid. And so I got back in contact with him. We started catching up. We started hanging out, and fast forward, we were together. So there was some red flags from the beginning that I should have known that I kind of ignored. But again, I had no idea about drugs and that lifestyle and that world and nothing about that. So I was ignorant to the red flags because I didn't really necessarily know what they meant. But I will say that I was smart enough to know kind of that there was something going on. And so some of the red flags were he seemed like he lived with his grandparents, but he had to sneak in and out kind of, and it seemed like they kind of didn't want him there, like he was kind of homeless. And so that was the first red flag. And then the second red flag was just his appearance. He looked different than what I remember, He was the kind of guy who waxed his eyebrows and did his hair every day and wore button-up shirts, And that night he was just, he just didn't look how I remembered. And so that was the second red flag. And then so we started dating. We started sleeping in my car because we couldn't stay at his grandparents, and I was living with my grandparents at the time because my dad's in jail and my mom lives in Oklahoma, which is where I'm at currently. And this was all taking place in Colorado, which is where I'm from and where he's from. So anyways, we couldn't stay at his house. We couldn't stay at my house, so we were sleeping in my car, which wasn't a big deal. I wanted to be with him every single second. I loved him, so, I was willing to do it. So he was smoking it off of foil, and he did it in front of me, and I had no idea what it was. It was black tar heroin, but I had no idea what it was. So he told me that it was basically the way he explained it, he said it's basically opium, and it comes from a plant, like weed comes from a plant. He didn't ever say it was heroin. He said it was opium, and I didn't know what opiates were, what opiate, like opiate, the word, I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what opium was, you know? So I thought, I believed him. I thought it was like a opium, you know? So he told me that's what it was, and then, you know, we stayed in Colorado for about 2 months together, and he was doing that, and I, you know, didn't think anything of it, kind of. So another red flag was that the first or second night we hung out, he asked me for money, a lot of money, like $300, and he said that he had to pay off his court or a ticket thing, or else he was going to go to jail for a while. And I didn't want him to go to jail because we had just started hanging out and I really liked him, so I gave him the money, which was a mistake. But you know, when you're head over heels in love with somebody, you'll do anything for them. So he asked me for a lot of money, a lot, and so those were red flags, basically. He would say, because he was on probation, he would say, I need $20 for UA, I need this and that, gotta pay off a ticket. It was always to pay off court stuff, and I always gave him the money. And so another red flag was that he wasn't working. He didn't have a job. And so we decided to move to Oklahoma together. After being out in Colorado for like 3 months, we decided to move to Oklahoma with my mom. And he thought that that would help him get sober. And so on the way to Oklahoma, I was researching like pictures of what he was smoking, and that's when I figured out it was heroin. And I confronted him about it, and he told me. So 3 months of him doing it, I didn't even know it was heroin, you know? And so we go to Oklahoma, and he runs out of his stuff, basically, and he makes me drive him back to Colorado. And we're doing that, driving back and forth to Oklahoma, Colorado for about 2 weeks, getting stuff. And it was awful, 10-hour drive there and back, wasting money. He didn't care, you know, when he would withdraw, he would be awful to me, just calling me every name in the book. He said he hated it there, he'd rather be homeless than live there, this and that. And I realized, I didn't know then, I thought it was me then, but now, being an addict, I realized it was just the drugs talking. But, fast forward 6 months, or fast forward a couple weeks, actually, after driving back and forth, we found a plug in Oklahoma, and so we didn't have to go back to Colorado anymore. So yeah, so fast forward about 6 months, I was holding the drugs for him, and, you know, trying to wean him off, and, you know, I was holding them so basically he couldn't smoke as much, so I was controlling it. But since I had it in my possession, I kind of got curious about it, and we would fight a lot. It was a very toxic relationship. He wasn't a very nice person. So I remember the first time I did heroin, we had gotten into a fight, and I got into my car and I drove to this park, and he had a piece of foil sitting in the front seat, like in the console, and I had a big old glob of heroin still on it. And I grabbed it and I smoked it, and that was the first time I did heroin. And I remember I had done pain pills before. Like, my mom had given me a couple pain pills when me and him would fight, and I would cry and get so upset, and I'd go to her house and I'd have a headache from crying. She'd give me some Vicodins and stuff, and I remember they would make me feel so good. I would get, you know, like that itchy feeling, and it would feel great. And so when I smoked the heroin for the first time, that's what I felt, like that itchy feeling, you know, and just like sedated. And so after that, I started doing it. Every couple of days I would sneak and do it in the bathroom, and, you know, I wasn't getting sick. I could smoke and then get really fucked up, and then I could stop for like a week and I wouldn't get sick, you know. But so I hid it for a couple months, and I wasn't getting sick, and I wasn't doing it every day. And then once I told him about it, was when I started doing it every day with him. And so me and him were smoking every day, and it was getting too expensive. We were stealing every day, you know. We didn't have jobs, and so we needed to figure out a way to save money. So I said, it was my idea. I said, why don't we start shooting up? Because we'll, you know, use a lot less, and we'll save money. So we went to this guy's house and we got some pure white China heroin, and we shot up, and usually a gram lasted us a day between the both of us, but that gram lasted us 3 days. So we were like, yes, you know, it's working, we're saving money, da 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 da. And then that didn't last long because obviously you build a tolerance no matter what, and so it was basically the same thing. And yeah, and anyways, we would shoot up every single day, and you know, I became a full-blown IV heroin addict. And he ended up leaving me. He ended up getting clean actually because of me. I helped him get into the clinic. I paid for it. I convinced him to do it. I got him into a methadone clinic. He got clean, you know, and then after he got clean, he decided he was tired of the lifestyle, and he left me out here in Oklahoma, and he went to Las Vegas and lived with his aunt. And yeah, he didn't feel the need to help me get clean after I helped him, which is sad and it's fucked up, but you know what, it's fine. Excuse my language. I hope my video doesn't get taken down because of that. But anyways, yeah, so he had left about a month ago, and I just got into the clinic. That's why I want to make this video, to kind of show my process and my progress. And you know, today was my 3rd day in the clinic. I got put on methadone. They started me on 30 milligrams the first day, then I went to 40 the second day, and today I went up to 50 milligrams. I'm still using, so I don't notice a difference. I think maybe it's making me kind of tired and sedated, but the reason I'm still using is because, number one, I still have heroin left, and number two, I work a full-time job, and it takes a while for the methadone to build up into your system and to get the right milligram dosage and for you to feel basically normal. So a lot of people just are sick and stay home until the methadone starts working and kicks in. But since I have a full-time job, I can't necessarily do that. I'm at work right now. I can't necessarily wait for it to kick in, so I need to continue to use until it kicks in. But hold on a second, guys. Anyways, I'm planning on in about a week or like 3 or 4 days to just be on the methadone, which I want to vlog my experience and how I feel and everything. Yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to kind of tell my story. I kind of did the sped up version. My video's already at 13 minutes. I'm just recording on my iPhone. I'm not a fancy YouTuber. I don't have a camera or anything, so I'm not going to edit, and I don't want it to be too long. But basically, that's my story on how I became an addict, and this is going to be my recovery story. And yeah, if this helps anybody, or you know, if you guys have questions for me or want some advice or want to ask me more in depth about my story, leave a comment. I'll leave all my social media in the description if you want to follow me and DM me. I know I might get some negative comments, and that's fine, but I'm doing this to help somebody. If it helps one person, then I will be completely satisfied. So yeah, that's me, that's my story, and subscribe because I will be doing more videos, hopefully, not just about my addiction, but I want to, I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. It's been a dream of mine for so long, ever since I was in middle school, and I'm 21 now. So it's been years that I wanted to start it, but I just, you know, was too shy, and I never thought I would be good enough. I never thought anybody would want to watch me. So I decided, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I, you know, have good ideas and a great personality, and I think that I could put out good content. So yeah, subscribe if you want to, give this video a like, and leave a comment. I would love to read some comments and to talk to you guys and to help somebody. So yeah, until next time.